Star blob, star blob, star blob.
We can't kill her.
I'm dead, you're dead, we all died, and now we're killing her. Pay it forward.
What?
He's showing interest in my body?
Whoop whoop wop wop of how wop whoop.
Dude, mod love. I hate it. Thanks for everything you do, mods. I mean, I would pay you, but I think what we've got is even better. This emote.
We want to end our run in style, but we need $20,000. We want to end our run in style,
but we need $20,000.
Starred.
No pet. Can't imagine Ster playing Slime Rancher. It's a video game. You can't imagine me playing a video game? Holy shit. I was just looking it up. 2016? I played it, yeah. I think I played it before, like it was super early access and there was almost nothing to do. So I think the 3 hours I played was like total content. Like I did basically everything. The announcement is in about an hour. We could definitely do some like CBT until then. Enough time to play Yeek? I don't think so. It's enough time to hear like one conversation in Yeek. For all the askers, no Myriad today, because why would there be Myriad on Thursdays? Origami Nemesis, Tailspinner, thanks for subbing, gifting subs, and Horomathamael, and Holmeson, and Awesome Sauce, and Shmogi, and Musicality, and thanks for subbing. You know what? For every Myriad session that we miss, the following session is gonna have another Meteor Flesh ritual. How about that? And then they'll walk into the ritual, they go, God damn it, not again. And then the ritual will talk to them and be like, I don't know, what voice do I got here? You shouldn't have skipped last week. Also, that sounded weird. I think my I think my shit got changed. I'll have to look into that. Does Shoreford die every meteor too? Yeah, sometimes, yeah, pretty much. Sometimes he just leaves, but mostly he dies. But if you miss 2 in a row, then I kill them all. In the game, in Minecraft. How many more set? Yeah, like I'm kind of on the fence of how. I know as the DM, I have a lot of sway in what happens, but they might all die next session for real. It might be the last one, and I feel like that wouldn't be the worst thing.
He swapped stories with fellow cyber junkies in the forum.
Hi,
Cause
gamer.
shit's pretty derailed and we've missed so many sessions. I feel like every time we miss a session, it's like, how do I put it? I feel like it would take 3 sessions consecutively for them to get like reinvested in like a new something, like a new plot line that I would basically have to just like force them into episode 1. Like the next episode they're like kind of getting into it, and then by like the 3rd episode they're like, okay, this is our thing. But then like if at any point during that 3 episode arc we miss another session, which at this point is feeling inevitable, then it's like start that over. So I don't know. Is there D&D today? No. Octo had an important meeting that he's gonna be doing today, and I hope it goes good for him. But no Myriad today. Man, guys, I thought I was ready to stream, but I think I gotta poop. You know what I mean? Could work 2 sessions in 1 week. That's, dude, it's still hard for me to prep 1 a week. And then figuring out everyone's scheduling to do that is probably not going to happen. Is a whole nother layer. Anyway, BRB. Wait, I poisoned myself with my poop? Wait, am I dying? Shoot. What am I doing? We got 43 minutes until PoE time. And then Dredge game. I don't know too much about it, but it looked like it was fun. You go out fishing amongst the occult horrors of the world. Did I watch the Zelda announcement? I don't think I'm allowed to. I saw a little bit of it. My wife is very excited for the game and she doesn't want any spoilers. I'm also, like, I'm curious, but I'm probably never gonna play it. So it doesn't really matter that much to me. The pinned message is phrased kind of by like an insane person. And I don't know how to deal with the pin system. Unpin. How do I even as a person do? Okay. Sad face. That's what it meant? Yeah. I mean, it's myriad, so imagine it happening more than like one time a month. How have we got 12 episodes when like it hasn't been 1 year yet? You know what I mean? We started in September? Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. There's 40 minutes. I've got the timer on my screen. I will be aware. Shush! 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 I think, yeah, I'm gonna poop for 40 more minutes. I'm actually on the toilet right now. I didn't want to say. Thought I might have. I don't know. Confused people. But I guess it's too late. Hi. It's me. The corner webcam guy. It's me over here. Dude, actually, I don't I was gonna like play Last Epoch until it start. I don't really wanna. What do I want to do? I want to play Dredge, but I don't want to start it until after because I don't want to like get cut off. 2 games of I would have time to play 1 at most, like half of 1. You know it's true. Are there any reactables on the internet? Any reactables? Any r/games Dredge launch trailer out now? Dude, this game looked pretty good. I think I'm gonna try it. Top comment, this sucks. Huh, notice this is on Steam just now. What? Yeah, because it's out now. Idiot. Why does this game have $5? Does it? I think it has a soundtrack. Oh no, I think you're right. Wait, hold up. The Blackstone Key. $5. Receive 2 unique pieces of equipment. I think they put it there for dum-dums. Right? Right? I think they're done making games in general. I think there's no more games. What is the top? What is the tippity top of gaming this week? The Legend of Zelda. Lame. Stupid. 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 Counter-Strike 2 is just Counter-Strike 1 with a new UI. This week at Bungie, no one cares. Actually, I don't know. I've still only read the first 3 words. Stupid. 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 Who clicked on that? This is all stupid. Gaming is stupid. I hate everything. Dolphin on Steam. What? Doesn't that sound illegal? My eyes, I'm dying a little bit on the inside. Technically allowed? I love that technicality right there. Sony is hurting Xbox. Sony, Leave Xbox alone. You're bullying. This is all dumb. This is cool. This is hype. Dude, what? 34 minutes of Ster? Huh? What? Ster doing nothing? I gotta have some game installed I can play for like 30 minutes. Some kind of nuclear throne, perhaps. That sounds reasonable to me. Pizza Tower now? I refunded it though. Thank God. I was saying to Ashley this morning that I think the idea of playing Pizza Tower is much more enticing than actually playing Pizza Tower. And she was like, no, that's not true. Pizza Tower is awesome. The music is cool. She was listening to the music. And like, wouldn't it be really awesome if you were like good at the game and you could do all the movement? I was like, yes, exactly. If the thought of if I was good at Pizza Tower, it would be fun is true, but it's not fun to be good at Pizza Tower. So I'd rather just think that, you know, cool game. It'd be fun if like I memorized every single stage and I knew exactly what I was doing at all moments. But when you don't, you just run at walls and it's not fun. Skill issue? Sure, buddy. Sure. Yeah, sure. Your argument is it's not fun because... No, I made a very clear argument yesterday and everyone just said no. So chat, I'm not gonna win a I don't like Pizza Tower argument. It's not possible to have that argument on the internet and for someone in chat to be like, that's your opinion and it's valid to have your opinion about Pizza Tower. That is never gonna happen. So what is the point of even explaining what I don't like about it? Exactly. I win. You lose. It's being a little weird. Aren't fun to be bad at? Yeah, it's like not fun to practice. It's doing something slightly wrong is very annoying. Or if you miss something a little, like you're like, oh, I need to like turn and go down this, and I just missed the turn by a little bit. Like in a racing game, you'd be like, I was unable to, you know, instead of being in first place, now I'm in second place, and I drifted a little wrong. In Pizza Tower, it's like, I missed the turn, I ran up the wall, I hit my head on the ceiling, and then I ran across the ceiling, and then it's like, just leave me alone. You know what I mean when I say leave me alone and you're still typing to me right now? Are you fucking for real right now? I have no idea what you're saying. Yeah, I know. And then I say that I don't like that the controls aren't tight, and then everyone says the controls are tight. You're just bad, but it's not the tightness. It's not truly the tightening the screw. It's the delay before you're able to do what you want it to do. Like I picture it as, you know, those spike games like VVVVVVV, the super precise platformers where if you miss your jump, you're dead. If one of those games, instead of you just like perfectly being able to control your character, you're like, okay, I'm gonna jump over these spikes. Jump. Like, you can't just jump in fucking Pizza Tower. And the failure isn't that you hit the spike and you die. The failure is I ran up the wall and I'm somewhere I totally don't want to be and I'm bouncing across like 6 different characters. And it doesn't even matter because you don't actually take damage or die and there's barely a lose condition. And you just gotta go around and collect shit that you don't care about. I don't care about no fucking collectibles. You just walk through the stage. He hates pizza. I love pizza. That's the problem. I love pizza. Unhinged? I think I'm pretty hinged, dude. All right. If I love pizza, name every pizza. I just did in my brain, but it would take too long to say out loud. Because, like, my brain is like, you guys wouldn't even fucking comprehend the processing power that I have. So I think that's why we're in such a disagreement here, because you're operating on like a fucking normie human brain that only does like 1 process an hour. And I'm just like I've like already mentally beat Pizza Tower. That's why it's boring. Still on Core 2 Duo? It's sad. Already calculated the solution? Precisely. And the solution is, if I played this game for a long time and overcame all the stuff I don't like about it and memorized every stage, then I'd also be bored of it because I memorized every stage. And I'd be done. But I just skipped all of that because I beat it in my head. Trivial. Truly trivial. Oh, let me make sure I have the timer on my other monitor. Did I play Super Meat Boy? I did, but it's been such a long time that I have like no comment.
Payment for services rendered. Pleasure doing business.
Okay, this time for real, this will be a game that will elicit a reaction from you that will be better than this Pizza Tower rant for absolute sure.
What? Taxhaven3000.com. What? I've already beat Tailspinner mentally as well, because like, just like Pizza Tower, where I've already solved it, I have already opted to just not listen to anything Tailspinner says and just immediately disregard it. It's been going great. Dude, do you know what I am saying? Do you know what I am saying? And you know what? I think Pizza Tower has a big fan base of people who enjoy it because the character's animated really good and it's got fun music. And that's why I said my Pizza Tower review is my IGN review. Pizza Tower is a game that is theoretically very fun. That it is funner to think about playing than to actually play. And if you're watching someone play, the game looks fantastic. 9 out of 10. Dude, I like... Okay. Everyone in chat, what is everyone in chat's average age? Like 12, right? So you just don't know that, like, when I was 12, every single game that existed was basically Pizza Tower. So it's like not special. But if you're 12 now, you're looking at Pizza Tower like, dude, this is so original and fucking, this is fresh and funky and cool. When the reality is, it's like that was like literally every game. I'm over it already.
It would stink being a medieval peasant, but do you know just how stinky?
I was actually really disappointed when I saw Pizza Tower and it was so Sonic-like.
It was so what-like? Souls-like? It was a Souls-like? You go away. I don't got any ammo, man. And it was so Sonic-like. Yeah, I also would 100%. I mean, that's what I was saying. It's a Sonic-like situation. And Sonic, bad game. I apologize for just having all of the wrong opinions.
Came across as a great and powerful warrior.
But in 20 minutes, though,
It's a different story.
I'm gonna have all the right opinions about PoE. Or wrong, or like me liking PoE might also be wrong. I don't even know.
You got kids?
PoE is wrong. I don't want to be right. True. I was experimenting in the hospital.
I was experimented on in the hospital.
Hi.
Like, I suppose.
Is your opinion of PoE an opinion or fact? Opinion?
Opinion? Fact.
This is the place to go if you want to see boobs.
If you like Ster for his eating backpack pork, cooked takes, uncooked takes from backpack, you're also going to have to accept that all of his tastes in video games and the things you like are also wrong. I think is just the reality of it. Is this the Dredge game? This is Nuclear Throne. We're waiting 20 minutes for PoE.
Oh gosh, do I ever. To have a lovely lady. Oh my goodness.
He went on an opinion bender that cost him his health, job, and life.
You shall make a fine pet for Amy.
Don't know anything about the new league, but I always enjoy post streams.
Well, no one knows anything about the new league. That's why it's exciting. I'm kind of hoping they put effort into this one. That's where I'm at. They actually I think it's gonna be a good one because they delayed it a couple of weeks. They delayed it like a month, didn't they?
We want to end that run in style, but we need $20,000.
$20,000. Most of his higher ammo count.
Where did
You got so much power. Indigestion, thank you. King Corny, thank you. Last league was amazing. Again, dude, actually, even my sub opinion, Path of Exile is great. Sub opinion, Sanctum was really bad. Sanctum as a league mechanic was fucking trash.
Pleasure doing business.
But everyone
Ster,
loves it.
Hear me out. These are the people that made the Lil Nas X Satan shoes. They made a single giant fruit loop worth 930 units of caloric energy with 75
What are you saying?
grams of sugar. They are your kind of people. Please.
What people? Are you talking about Tax Haven? Oh, is this the fucking dating sim game where you do your taxes by dating people? Is that what we're talking about? Is that what it was? Okay, well, I appreciate the concept enough to go, heh, but like, that's it. My guns are bad, and Lil Hunter's about to kill me. Just kidding, I'm about to... Ooh! No, my health, you fuckers! Hold on, focusing. What was my last cook take? Was it Sanctum was bad? Okay, I'm dead. I thought that was gonna kill me. But no one here, like, there's like 3 people in my chat who actually care about PoE, so it doesn't even matter what my take is. I don't know why people liked it so much. It's like they marketed it as PoE as a roguelike. And now let me make a comparison to if it were like the Binding of Isaac. So imagine you're playing Binding of Isaac. You start the game in your little square room with 4 exits, and then you go to the next room and it's like, oh cool, a couple enemies, you fight those enemies. And then you go to the next room and it's an identical room with the exact same enemies in the exact same places. You're like, oh, well, that RNG was a little weird. Then you go to the next room and it's the same level with the exact same enemies in the exact same placements. You're like, well, this is getting kind of fucking stale already. Like, I feel like I already have seen everything. And then you go to the next room and it's like the reward room where you get to pick up a cool item for Binding of Isaac to like change your build. And then it makes your character worse. And then you go to the next room and it's the same one you did before. And everyone's like, this shit is incredible. I can't believe I love doing this. See, I already solved it in my head. What we got? We got a super flak cannon. I'll take that. No, I want. I'm gonna take the hyper launcher, and I'm gonna get hyper. I'd love to watch Ster's first playthrough of PoE and see how much fun he had compared to now. Well, it's hard to say because my first playthrough of PoE would have been when the end game was killing docks. Which is, in current PoE, Act 3 out of 10, and also only half of Act 3. Where there's no final boss. I think my first impression was, this is okay, I guess, and then I didn't play it for a couple years. Anyone who played a ton of PoE around that time, when it was dock farming, actually insane people. Like, need to go to therapy and tell your therapist, I've been farming docks in PoE for like a week straight. Help. I guess I prevent die. There's 13 minutes. I gotta hurry up. Triple machine gun. And now those people complain on Reddit? I mean, they always have. Blap. I want to play PoE, but I want to make my own builds, but I don't know where to start. You do know where to start. It's fucking Act 1. Downloading the game and playing Act 1 is the start of the game. Ow. Ow. Can I get some ammo so I don't have to like walk up next to this erratically moving insta-kill touched enemy? How am I doing? I am doing great. Oh shit. I could use a better secondary gun, but otherwise doing pretty good. Mostly the ammo situation, which I think has been resolved. Now I'm doing fantastic. 10 minutes for PoE. I gotta get inside this. Okay. It's the plot of Nuclear Throne. The world was destroyed in an apocalypse, and it has to do with people teleporting nuclear bombs through time travel. And then you're one of the guys who gets mad about it. You're just some random dude Something like that. More enemies. Okie dokie. But what if they don't kill me? What if I live? Ooh, energy hammer. Do I want? No, I don't want that. No, I'm almost out of ammo again. Next stage is gonna suck. Next stage is sewers too. I can't use that. Eight minutes? Fuck, dude. Dude, the stream's starting! Brothers. Stream starting. We're not making it out of here. Our 17 ammo. And he's already been juicing. The mama down there is creating all these boys. And I only got melee weapons. You can't touch the gas. I forget how this the blood weapons even work. I think they hurt me if I miss. It's a curse chest. Okay. Time 5 minutes. Ultra laser pistol. No, thank you. Five minutes. Kill me. Kill me. Okay. Quit, 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 quit. I have it open on Firefox instead of Chrome. I am so ready. ish. Wow, guys. Chris Wilson from Grinding Gear Games? They drop, yeah, after this, the patch notes comes out. I'm probably not going to read them. I think there was supposed to be a lot of balance changes or something. I don't know. My enthusiasm for the league has been kind of not as high as it usually would be, but at the same time, I am open to hype. Just show it to me. Can I react harder? I'm reacting as hard as I possibly can. Could maybe react harder, but what was your favorite league? Sentinel? The main PoE site has a announcement 1 box. Dude, there's there's 3 minutes, but let's theorycraft real quick. Let's fucking go. No, so the general gist of what they've been putting out is that it seems like you're going inside. It's like a lava area, and there's the giant molten one god who's here, and it seems to be based on crafting, some kind of crafting expansion. No one really knows. Crafting is... I kind of hate PoE crafting, so I would love to see something that's a little bit more intuitive, which is kind of why I like Sentinel, because it just made it like... It was still really unnecessarily complicated, but better. Better complicated. Forge your own waifu. Have I played Morrowind? No. Cleave gets +5 radius? What? I very much, I was saying in the Discord that if they make bleed builds playable, mana builds playable, or slam builds playable, I really don't care about anything else. I mean, like, everything else is... All of those would get me excited, but I know it's not going to happen. So hopefully the league is good. But you did a permadeath randomizer. I was going to, and I set up Morrowind, but I never actually played it. Morrowind modding was like a hellhole. A bit of a hellhole. More streamlined crafting. I'm hoping for the streamlined crafting. I think they've gotten better at making their menus like they had in Sentinel, where they can actually show you. I feel like, honestly, I'd only just played Last Epoch recently and actually got to the end game and really started to understand it. I feel like they've been copying some shit from Last Epoch from now that I'm aware of what both games are doing, that I wouldn't be surprised if this expansion were like legendary potential, what that is in Last Epoch, like something like that. Which I still don't fully understand, but it feels like feels like in 20 seconds what I'm saying, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know about affix shards, but there's been a lot teased in the last like 2 leagues, almost that like of like uniques being modified in some way. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was legendary potential in Last Epoch is like crafting onto uniques.
Chris Wilson from Grinding Gear Games. Thanks for joining us for today's live stream as we unveil Path of Exile Crucible, which launches on April 7th on PC and Mac and on April 12th on console.
Twitch drops are enabled on today's live stream, so make sure you follow the instructions below in order to claim your Sphinx wings. Speaking of live streams, this is our last dedicated Path of Exile 1 announcement stream for around 6 months. That's because our 322 expansion announcement will occur during the ExileCon livestream in late July. Set yourself a reminder to tune in because we'll also be unveiling massive amounts of information about Path of...
I'm gonna tune in.
Revealing the date that its beta will start. Okay, back to today's livestream. Here's what you can expect. We'll start with a trailer for Crucible, followed by a deep dive on the League itself. Then we'll cover this expansion's endgame improvements, including the introduction of Atlas gateways and revamps to both Breach and Abyss leagues. We'll
I've been expecting the revamp to Abyss as well. That shit's been on like... It always takes them just long enough to develop something that I see like the ground being laid, and I'm like, dude, they're totally reworking Abyss. Please, God. I'm surprised it took this long though.
Before diving into the new supporter pack series. The live stream will
I've been running Abyss every league, and it's been super clear that they're trying to make it better, but it hasn't quite gotten there. And hopefully now it's... I wish just all the uniques too were better. But Abyss is fun. I liked the Atlas memory for Abyss. I was running a lot of those. Is this game good? This is my favorite game.
Hail, one of many. Eons ago, my kind walked the molten surface of this world. Now, we seek a champion.
It's me! I'll do it!
You must endure the heat of the Crucible.
Oh my god, if it spawns enemies in a circle around it. Ah!
Raycast has ever seen.
Okay. This is just exactly what I was saying. These are unique items with skill trees.
The power of the Titans. And bring...
I mean, it's not exactly what I was saying, but it looks like modifiable uniques. Nine new Val skills. Let's go. Dude, can we drop Abyss shards in like one fucking stack, please? Or not Abyss, Breach. Mastery overhaul. They just made this shit. They just made a mastery. Dude, this was gonna be the first league that I played Saboteur as well. Never played one before. Get fucked, he's gone. Pathfinder reworked? They also just... Well, we'll see. I like the sound of all of that.
In Path of
so
Exile
far,
Crucible, you'll learn about an ancient race of titans who once shaped the primordial surface of Rayclust. In this league, you will earn the ability to forge their power onto your weapons. And what form does that power take? In an iconically Path of Exile way, it's the ability to imbue your weapons with their own passive skill trees. These Crucible trees can have quite an impact on your character build. For example, in addition to the regular mods on this bow, its Crucible tree grants additional physical damage, physical to chaos conversion, the Master Fletcher notable passive, improved
that sounds
effect,
fucking awesome.
and
Holy, what
lesser
the
multiple
fuck?
projectiles. While this is
That's
certainly a
insane.
decent
That's
tree to
all
get,
insane.
It's not even the maximum depth and could be even more optimized for your build.
That's like
In
the
order to
hugest
forge
fucking
these
power
powerful
creep
trees onto your weapons, you'll need
I've
to
ever
complete
seen.
Crucible encounters. There's one in each area. Each encounter takes place at a Crucible forge. As you approach the forge, you'll have the choice of which of your equipped weapons you want to focus on. This can include ones on your alternate weapon swap if you want to improve one you're not currently using.
That's neat.
After selecting a weapon, you channel it at the Crucible forge to spawn monsters. The longer you channel for, the more dangerous and rewarding the encounter becomes. As you spawn additional monsters, they combine together to create larger and more fearsome foes that grant even more experience for your Crucible passive tree. Being able to ramp up the difficulty of the encounters is a double-edged sword. While it gives you the opportunity to make rapid progress on your Crucible weapon crafting projects, it comes with significant risk to your character.
They did show unique weapons in those slots before
yourself and
as
make
well.
an encounter that is too dangerous.
Like 100%.
Channel carefully and adapt to what your character is capable of. When you first find a weapon, it doesn't have a Crucible tree unlocked. Channeling that weapon at Crucible encounters will unlock and reveal its tree, as well as allocating the first skill. You can only allocate one skill at each tree depth, so you'll need to decide which path through the tree is best for your build. As you get deeper into a tree, more and more experience is required to unlock skills. The final depths can take quite an investment and can only be found rarely on endgame items.
This is
but
like
also
an
have some of the
extra
most powerful
ascendancy
properties.
level of power.
For example, this wand has 2 depth 5 skills to choose from. One of them allows all damage from your Freezing Pulse and Eye of Winter skills to poison, and the other allows various brands to be attached to your Summoned Reaper. There are many such modifiers to skills that will enable very interesting build combinations. In addition to all types of weapons, shields can also be empowered with their own crucible trees. Here's a relatively simple low-level example. It gets a bit crazier as you approach the endgame. Speaking of the endgame, in endgame crucible encounters, you'll occasionally find igneous geodes, currency items that can be cracked open to reveal a primeval remnant.
I'm getting
This is
it!
a map-like item that grants
I have
access
it!
to the
I
Forge
have
of the
it!
Titans, the culmination of your crucible journey. These primeval remnants always generate as rare items. Half of their mods are upsides and half are downsides. The upsides generally increase the rewards of the area or add special crafting options. For example, causing monsters to drop divination cards or magmatic ore, a form of tradable itemized crucible tree experience. The downsides are quite punitive compared to most endgame maps. Ideally, you want to find a primeval remnant that is really rewarding upsides alongside downsides you can handle. If you don't think you'll survive a visit to the Forge of the Titans, trade the remnant away to someone else and gamble on cracking open another geode. If you survive and manage to reach the end of the area, you'll find the aforementioned forge, which allows you to merge crucible trees on 2 items together. The way this process works is that you provide 2 items of the same class. For example, a pair of bows, a pair of shields, or a pair of one-hand axes.
What?
One of these items will be melted down.
Were they
and
not
applied to
strong
the other,
enough?
which will keep its regular properties. Their crucible trees will be merged together in an unpredictable way, taking elements of each one. This is a little reminiscent of how recombinators applied to item mods, taking parts of each crucible tree and merging them together, as well as randomly upgrading, downgrading, or mutating skills on the resultant tree. While this process can create some really powerful trees if you get skills you wanted from both items, it can also completely wreck your precious trees, so take care choosing which you risk combining.
Dude, you can't wreck
Also,
it. It's
like
already
recombination,
like
there are ways to manipulate the system
an
to improve
insane
your
power
odds against
creep.
certain
A
outcomes.
bad one is
For
still
example,
god
any
tier.
skills that have been allocated are more likely to show up in the resultant crucible tree. By default, you can only add crucible trees to non-unique items, but it's possible to get a mod on the Forge of the Titans map that allows you to imbue a unique item with a crucible tree, which can then be leveled up via regular crucible encounters. To combine crucible trees on unique items together, you'll want to find a crystalline geode and crack it open to reveal the secret higher level version of the Forge of the Titans. I probably shouldn't say too much about it, but it will let you do some interesting
You won't
things
find
with
this.
crucible trees.
That's the one thing where they show you that you won't find that unless you like buy it on trade.
In addition to being much harder to unlock, there's a special rule about how they can be combined. A unique weapon must be combined with another copy of the same unique weapon to merge their trees together. Because this destroys one copy, getting a good crucible tree on a unique weapon makes it insanely valuable. It may also raise the trade value of all unique weapons by quite a lot, as players sacrifice them trying to create perfect crucible trees. Occasionally, you'll find a crucible passive skill tree with a special skill that indicates that the item will sell to vendors for a specific item in addition to its regular sale price. These vendor skills usually occur relatively deeply in the tree, so take some effort to allocate, but usually don't block skill choices you'd make when leveling the item up for use.
Cringe.
The presence of these skills presents you with an interesting
That's
choice
alright.
about whether you want to use the item or sell it to a vendor, and whether you want to spend your crucible experience either revealing new trees to hunt for good skills, leveling up items to use, or leveling up items to sell. Crucible also features its own unique items you can earn. For example, El Abin's Visage, a unique helmet, is special in that it's the only armor piece other than shields that can receive Crucible passive skill trees. Wearing it allows you to double down on certain properties that are only available through these trees. There are several other unique items exclusive to Crucible for you to discover in this league. Crucible is a dual combat crafting league with a focus on encounter difficulty scaling and deep weapon customization with a power level that we have never seen before. Without a doubt, some of Path of Exile's most powerful weapons will be forged in Crucible. We can't wait to see what you manage to create. Like all recent Path of Exile expansions, Crucible includes a lot of changes with the goal of improving Path of Exile's endgame. One area we wanted to address was mobility on the Atlas passive tree. Often, you'll find yourself in a situation where you want to specialize in leagues that are on entirely different sides of the Atlas tree. Or maybe you want to focus on the type of altar that isn't near the leagues you have picked. To solve this, Path of Exile Crucible introduces Atlas Gateways. These are nodes that you can allocate on the Atlas tree that allow instant travel between two locations. There are
Someone-
three pairs of
someone
gateways, each
came up
allowing
with this
travel
on the
from
Reddit a
left side
while
of the
back
tree to
as
the
a
right side,
thing.
or vice versa. Each end of the gateway consumes one Atlas skill point to allocate, but will potentially save you large amounts of travel points.
It's kind of funny and very helpful.
In this expansion, we're targeting a couple of endgame leagues that have fallen behind other leagues on the Atlas tree. Let's start with Breach. In the live version of Path of Exile, there are 5 tiers of Breachstone. In Path of Exile Crucible, we're raising the area levels of Breachstones to a much higher baseline level. 81 for elemental ones, 82 for physical, and 83 for chaos. Now that the regular Breachstones are much higher level, we have retired charged, enriched, and pure Breachstones. They will be converted to regular ones. We have also changed how flawless Breachstones are acquired. Previously, you could only get them from Maven invitations, but we prefer access to the hardest Breach content to actually come from playing Breach. Now there are 2 ways to get flawless Breachstones, through blessings, which are now rarer as a result, and through a skill on the Atlas tree. We've also improved the pacing of Breach encounters. Previously, Breaches felt pretty good early on, but quickly tapered off in density to the point where you wanted to abandon the Breach because it just felt like not enough monsters were spawning. Our changes now keep Breaches feeling dense throughout,
Debatable.
leaning more on the side of it feeling overwhelming towards the end of the Breach. We have also reduced the duration of Breaches so there is constant monster pressure
by
and you can
default,
get on
for
with your
sure.
mapping sooner. There are a whole bunch of other Breach changes that you can read about in the patch notes, such as changes to the Betrayal Research Safe House, Breach Scarabs, Breach Stones from Kirik missions, the Breach Harvest crafting option, the Fragment Stash tab, Divination cards, Breach unique items, Atlas passives, and so on.
Oh wait, what? I missed.
We're
what?
also revamping
We just
Abyss
named a lot
in
of
similar
things.
way. Abyssal Depths now always contain an Abyssal Lich. Previously, the prevailing gameplay was to check the loading screen art of an Abyssal Depths to see if it contained a Lich, and bail out if it didn't. Now, the depths always contain a Lich, removing the need for this step. While the rate of encountering Abyssal Liches is unchanged, Abyssal Depths are rarer than before. However, Abysses now have a chance to spawn a Stygian Spire in place of their reward chest, which will drop all of the jewels and other items you'd normally receive, as well as a Stygian Vice. In addition, you're guaranteed to always get a 4-hole Abyss alongside your Abyssal Depths. Previously, Abyssal Depths could only spawn immediately after a single Abyssal hole, which prevented you from getting full value from the Abyss. The Lightless Legion notable passive has been replaced with a new skill which grants Stygian Spires in your maps drop items with +1 to item level. This is intended to allow players to continue to be able to obtain item level 86 Stygian Vices and other base types as a reward for specializing in Abyss. The small passives leading up to this notable passive have also been replaced.
He's saying too much, I can't interrupt him!
On Abyssal Lich encounters to make them more appropriately difficult relative to the current standard of endgame encounters. Abyss uniques have had some balance and tension also, and the details are in the patch notes. Overall, these changes should ensure you can play a wider variety of leagues in the endgame, both through being able to access them more easily and because Breach and Abyss now feel far more modern and competitive with other popular league content. A big goal of the Crucible expansion is to provide a lot of new ways to build characters, and to breathe new life into older builds.
To achieve this, we're doing 2 things.
It's him!
Firstly, we have created many more interesting options for one of Path of Exile's core build systems, the passive skill tree, by overhauling many of its masteries. Secondly, we have revamped 2 specific ascendancy classes. As we reviewed the masteries on Path of Exile's passive skill tree, we realized that a lot of the choices were rather bland and could be a lot more exciting. We went through the masteries one by one and tried to come up with as many interesting stats as we could, ignoring what was currently
The PoE Discord, the Twitch stream is spamming bald.
We added in the existing ones that used to be on each mastery and picked the 6 best. All of the leftover ones have been saved for later or used in places like unique items. This process was performed on approximately half of the masteries on the tree, initially targeting the ones that needed the attention the most. Previously, some masteries only had 4 options, so we've tried to increase as many as possible to 6 options. We've also added a couple of new mastery types that we felt were missing. Let's look at an example, the life mastery choices. You can see some of the interesting new options, such as the ability to manipulate your low life and full life thresholds, which allows you to more effectively
Mana
use
needs
the damage
that
while on full life
so
support gem
fucking
and
bad.
many unique items. Getting a large increase to maximum life when you have
Or
no life on your body
similar.
armor not only works really well with a whole lot of unique items, but also opens up new prefix
never played
composition
this
options for
Pro-Star
rare body
blob.
armors. Here you can see the armor and energy shield mastery has more options available than before. The other thing we focused on with this one is tying the mechanics together better. Instead of some being about armor and some being about energy shield, we've tried to make sure each really emphasizes having both armor and energy shield. On the Leech Mastery, we've combined the 3 increased life mana and energy shield recovery stats into one choice that affects all of them. The space we've freed up has been used to add some powerful new options, such as a portion of your leech applying instantly.
This is the most power creep.
The spell suppression mastery
expansion
also has many interesting
by like
options.
5 times.
Your chance to suppress spell damage becoming lucky is extremely useful before you've optimized your gear and haven't reached 100% yet. The third option rewards you for stacking more than 100% spell suppression, which previously had few benefits. Now it's something you can plan your itemization around. While looking at masteries, we noted that there were some mechanics that didn't have enough passive tree support, so we decided to add some more options and passive skill choices for those mechanics. We also wanted to grant more access to certain types of masteries in specific parts
Ashley,
of the passive skill
I'm busy!
tree. For example, in order to allow more access to the attack mastery, we've added an attack cluster by the Templar and one between the Ranger and Shadow. We wanted to create more access to other forms of recovery such as regen and recoup, so we've added some new passive skill clusters. Note that there is now a new mastery called Recovery. We've also added more capacity for investment in certain mechanics that we felt could be improved, such as link skills, stun mitigation, and marks. These mastery improvements and passive tree changes are just some of the ones introduced in Path of Exile Crucible. We look forward to your feedback on the rest when you check out the passive skill tree next week. While going through Ascendancy classes, we identified 2 that needed work, the Saboteur and the Pathfinder. Both have been significantly changed in Path of Exile Crucible.
Not Chieftain?
These changes reinforce their respective identities while adding some new options to build around.
Not Chieftain,
The
though.
Saboteur is definitely the Ascendancy class most aligned with traps and mines, but the old version of the Saboteur made it difficult to play anything but traps or mines. The new version has more builds available, including a whole new specialization, Triggers. There are 2 notable passives that help with this. Like Clockwork grants you the increased cooldown recovery rate stat, which is a pretty rare one. This is great for triggered spells as it indirectly increases their damage. This notable also makes your enemies have longer cooldowns, which can be useful in certain boss fights, for example causing the Maven's memory game to occur less often. The Perfect Prime notable passive summons 2 trigger bots, which override the location of where a triggered spell is being cast, and instead causes it to trigger twice, once from each of their locations. The layout of the Saboteur's trap and mine Ascendancy passives has changed, so that there aren't separate 4-pointers for traps and mines. Now each one has a 2-pointer that is connected to the same shared 4-pointer.
I have to look at all this like one by one later.
We have also completely reworked Bomb Specialist to be specifically tied to area damage, so it's a slightly more general skill. It both gives you some area damage as well as some defense against incoming area damage against you. The Pathfinder has been overdue for some attention, especially with recent features such as concoction skills that she could get the ability to specialize in. We also wanted the Flask-themed Ascendancy to have a proactive way of improving Life Flask usage. Master Distiller allows you to turn most of your skills into concoction-like effects. Master Surgeon now effectively gives all of your Life Flasks the Enduring effect, previously only found on Mana Flasks. Finally, both of the major Flask-themed branches now have some form of Flask Charge recovery. There are other improvements to the Pathfinder Ascendancy, such as Nature's Reprisal, now interacting with Wither to improve all forms of your chaos damage, rather than just attack forms of it. Check out the full details in the patch notes that we'll be posting after the live stream.
Absolutely disgusting.
Path of Exile Crucible introduces 9 new Val skills. Last expansion, there was an emphasis on melee Val skills. In Crucible, we're making sure that many other types of builds get new skills to build around. Val
9
skills
of
let us
them.
introduce quite powerful effects that we couldn't normally give to a regular skill that can be used constantly. They also implicitly act as a buff to the underlying skill. Val Absolution upgrades one of your Sentinels of Absolution into an Apparition of Innocence. You can only have one apparition at once, but just check out these massive AoE skills it uses.
That's neat. There's usually not like summoning Val skills. This is pretty unique.
Val Arctic Armor instantly encases you in ice, preventing non-instant actions including movement, but granting massive damage reduction against hits. After a short duration, it also starts to regenerate your energy shield and mana at a fast rate. Both the damage
Actually, I could think of some funny
regeneration
uses
last
for that.
a few seconds, or until you have been hit 3 times. It cannot be manually cancelled. Because the skill is instant, it's a great emergency button against dangerous boss slams. It also makes you count as being
that's
frozen,
one.
despite Arctic Armor normally making you freeze immune. Having another way to self-freeze may be of interest to a few mad scientist build creators in the community. Val Lightning Arrow fires a barrage of
That's
piercing
really
projectiles
interesting, actually.
to cause lightning to strike nearby targets whenever they hit an enemy. After a short amount of time, or when they collide with terrain, the arrows randomly change direction and continue flying. This occurs a number of times before the arrows expire. Each arrow can hit the same target once per redirect. Because the arrows travel for a set time before redirecting, rather than a set distance, projectile speed modifiers affect the distance traveled. High projectile speed lets you clear out huge areas with them, while reducing your projectile speed increases the chance of them hitting the same target.
This with Nimbus Ring, what does it even do?
With very low projectile speed, the skill can hit a single target 20 plus times. Val Reap conjures a ring of scythes that deal damage to all enemies in a circular area. The scythes leave behind a pool of blood that deals heavy physical damage over time to enemies
that's
standing
log
in it,
in.
and for a short
Reap,
duration
log
after
in.
they leave it. Val Reap instantly grants a large number of the blood charges used by normal Reap on use, as well as temporarily higher maximum blood charge capacity, substantially powering up the regular version of the skill. Path of Exile Crucible introduces 5 other Val skills.
Firestorm?
Val Animate Weapon, Val Domination, Val Ice Shot, Val Rejuvenation Totem, and Val Firestorm.
Show me
This expansion
Firestorm!
also introduces more than 10 new unique items. There are 3 in particular I'd like to show you today. Blood Price is a unique helmet that has a new effect, reserving enemy maximum life. This does exactly what it implies, causing nearby enemies to start at 92% maximum life. While this increases your clear speed against all enemies, it's especially useful against bosses. The helmet's drawback is that it reduces your maximum life, but provides decent life regeneration and block and stun recovery to counteract this. Tainted Pact is an amulet that causes chaos damage over time to heal you while you're leeching life. While the amulet provides a decent amount of life
Crazy,
leech itself,
there's
it will
no time to
certainly require
explain.
a few tricks to unlock its full potential.
I'll go over it after.
Widow Hail is a unique bow that is different from any other bow in Path of Exile. As a weapon, it does basically no base damage and doesn't grant any stats of its own, but it does dramatically increase the power of mods provided by your quiver. Needless to say, this could produce some pretty ridiculous outcomes
Void
with
Fletcher?
good rare or unique quivers.
Level like
We will
40
reveal some of
Void
the other
Fletcher,
new uniques
whatever
over
the fuck.
coming week. Ruthless is a game mode that we released alongside the Sanctum expansion late last year. It's designed around extreme item scarcity and is challenging because you're constantly behind the item power curve.
We are allowing you to use
Server has
movement
found a very
abilities.
passionate audience of players who love how rewarding item drops feel in such an austere environment. We have some small improvements
2
to
plus 4
Ruthless and
equals
Path of Exile
24.
Crucible.
That's true.
Firstly, Eternal Orbs are back in Ruthless. These are an extremely powerful currency item that allows you to imprint an item and restore it if you're unhappy with the result of crafting. We disabled these game-wide 7 years ago because they were far too powerful when combined with all of the different crafting options Path of Exile offered at the time. Ruthless does not have the base game's crafting feature set, so we have enabled Eternal Orbs to drop in Ruthless, albeit extremely rarely. Ruthless now has its own set of challenges to complete. Like the ones in early Path of Exile, there were a total of 8, and they're very difficult.
Eternal Orbs are back only in Ruthless.
Like we've done in the past,
This is all
we're hosting
Ruthless
a boss
shit.
kill event at the start of the Crucible Challenge League. It'll be held in Ruthless Hardcore Solo Self-Found and will require you to kill both the
A lot of people are gonna be mad about that.
and the Uber Eater of Worlds, making it by far the hardest event we have ever run. The first place winner will get to work with our design team to add
Yeah.
a new unique item to Path of Exile.
Yeah, their chat's spamming log out.
Transferable Ultra VIP ticket to ExileCon in July. If they aren't able to attend or already have a ticket, then they are allowed to sell this one as they see fit. Second and third place finishers will receive a transferable VIP ticket to ExileCon that can also be sold at their discretion. If you'd like to enter the event, just create a character in Ruthless Hardcore Solo Self-Found on launch day. Best of luck to everyone.
Sad.
On the weekend of July 29 to 30 New Zealand time, which is July 28 to 29 for much of the rest of the world, we're going to be hosting ExileCon 2023 in Auckland, New Zealand. While tickets to the in-person event are very hard to get, we'll be streaming the entire event for free. At ExileCon, we'll reveal our latest updates on Path of Exile 2, Path of Exile Mobile, and the next Path of Exile 1 expansion. Make a note in your calendar, tell your friends, and don't miss it. The second day of the Path of Exile livestream culminates in a competitive race event between some of Path of Exile's best players. In order to select the 4 competitors, we're going to run qualifier events during the months of April and May. The winner of each event will receive a
I wonder
VIP
who it's
ExileCon
gonna be.
ticket, return flights to Auckland and accommodation, and will compete in the race event live on stage. All 4 qualifiers in the final event will be run on the 3.21 version of Path of Exile, which has received a fair amount of early game balance work that will change the racing meta quite a lot. You'll be able to read more in the patch notes.
Once 321 releases next week, you'll be able to solve the new meta, practice hard, compete in the qualifier events, and hopefully win your place on stage in July.
Alongside Path of Exile Crucible, we're introducing a few new types of microtransactions. An example I wanted to describe today is that of mannequins. These are hideout decorations that you can place to show off sets of microtransactions you have assembled. You can equip them with your spare micros and pose them in various ways. It's also possible to swap your entire outfit with a mannequin's one, which lets you easily store micro sets to be retrieved later. Other new microtransactions coming up include wrapping paper, which lets you gift wrap items to hand to other players, or even drop in town for random people.
They're billionaires. These two things, they're billionaires now.
Today we're launching 2 new series of supporter packs, the Lithomancer and Enchanter packs. Each tier contains the pack's full face value and points, alongside several exclusive microtransactions. These packs are only available for the duration of the Crucible League, and will leave the store forever when it ends. As always, the microtransactions in these packs are purely cosmetic and do not affect your character's power or progression in any way. The Lithomancer series of supporter packs contains 6 exclusive microtransactions. The Tunnel Bear isn't just adorable, he will also take the place of the Crawler in Delves, lighting your surroundings and laying down cables.
Fuck, they got me.
Apparently, this is what happens when your bear gets into a kilo of sulfite. Might explain what happened to Nico. The Ring of the Demon Slayer attempts to exorcise rare and unique demons when you hit them. The souls of defeated demons are banished to the depths below.
Cleave buff!
The ancient stone of the Lithomancer's armor set crumbles when you take damage, revealing the crimson core inside.
Soul Calibur 4!
The stone reforms if you haven't taken damage recently.
Love it.
A sip from the ancestral granite flask causes a Kurui ancestor to appear and surround you in protective wards. The ancestral portal encases you in molten armor when you travel through it.
Warrior.
The summoned Kurui ancestor rallies you to battle and honestly seems to have an unhealthy obsession with combat.
Go forth and conquer.
Ever want to practice running away from volatiles? The gunpowder foot attachment straps explosives to your legs, dispersing lit gunpowder behind you. Be careful, you can only outrun it for so long before it catches up.
It should kill you.
The Enchanter pack
They wouldn't do
also
that,
has
but
6
it
exclusive
should.
microtransactions. The Parrot of Exile pet parrots your exile. We'll just let it speak for itself.
It would be wrong to do
It would actually be a gameplay buff if they let that kill you, and they don't want microtransactions to be buffs. Because there's really popular cast on death builds that have been abusing the game for like 3 seasons.
If you stand perfectly still while wearing the enchanted armor set, it will attract butterflies to flutter around you. Be careful not to disturb them. Sick of high-fiving giant purple appendages? The Ritualist's Breach Ring visually transforms breaches you find into occult summoning circles. The Enchanter's crafting
Kinda
bench
look like
replaces
shit,
the
though.
normal crafting
That's cool,
bench in
but
your hideout with a
kinda-
suite of tools fit for a master artisan.
Kinda look like poopy.
The various crafting stations burst into life as you use them. If you've ever wanted to remind your character who's really in charge, the Puppeteer's back attachment has you covered. It truly is the sinister presence pulling the strings. These new packs are available right now at pathofexile.com/purchase. Purchases like these directly fund the ongoing development of Path of Exile 1 and 2. Meanwhile, the Forge and Gemling packs leave the store forever at the launch of the Crucible League, so now's your last chance to purchase them.
That's
Thank
the
you for your
Forge guy
continued
looks
support.
like he was supposed to be for this
We're
league.
about to start the Q&A with Ziggy D. After that, we'll post the full patch notes for Path of Exile Crucible.
After
As we
that-
approach release next week,
Fuck
our community
you,
team will
Chris!
post Crucible's challenges, information on how to update your item filters, more skill gem details, and information on
Fucking
how to prepare for
Ziggy D
Crucible's
here.
launch. On release
Fuck.
weekend, we expect to launch the new mystery box and this season's Kerrick's Vault Pass, which can be purchased with points and has a new free track available.
2030, they're announcing it in July
Path of Exile Crucible. We can't wait to
at
forge some
ExileCon.
powerful weapons with you next week. The Q&A will start shortly, so please get your questions ready.
Wait, actually, yeah, that's been known for like a year. They're probably gonna have a beta very shortly after the those announcements in July. I believe it's like the end of July, like July 30th is ExileCon. I think they're I don't want to say shit that might be wrong. ARPGs are not my hugest jam. This is my hugest jam, And let me tell you what. They said some insane shit. Let's break it down. Wait, hold up. I have to new tab because otherwise I don't get the cosmetics that I'll never use. Okay. Yeah, that also totally 100% changes. I had already done like a thought process of what build I wanted to start with. I was gonna do traps for the very first time. I've never done before. I was gonna maybe play Saboteur. It was probably gonna be a duelist. And then they reworked Saboteur. Show. I know there was one thing Ashley asked me why something was crazy. That I could go back and look at. There was a unique item. I think it was the unique, like everything that they showed from ascendancies and the passives on weapons, they usually show it way better than it actually is. So maybe I'm getting baited again because they showed like Sanctum relics. They showed all the good ones, and then everyone who tried to farm Sanctum relics got like fucking trash 90% of the time. Something blood. Oh, the reserve enemy's life.
Choice of which of your equipped weapons you want to focus on. This can include one crucible weapon crafting project. Crucible encounters will unlock and reveal its tree, as well as one of them allows all damn more and more.
I was also thinking of, well, I was partly right in saying that you could modify unique items. I was saying that. I said that, right? I was saying that, right? Right? Like I was saying that, right? Right? But I think that's going to make starting any league start that relies on a unique weapon is going to be even harder to do. I was thinking of doing a Varanostra, whatever the hell it's pronounced, sword league start build, because they're usually pretty easy to get. No one cares about them. But even that, like, because you have to open up their rare map to be able to modify a unique item, and the modifying item, the item passive tree seems like the most OP shit they've ever put in the game.
In endgame crucible encounters, you'll occasionally find igneous geodes, currency, a form of tradable itemized crucible tree experience. The downsides are quite two items to predictable way.
Yeah.
Also, like recombinators, there are ways to manipulate the system.
I think they might have just shown like really good modifiers, and you'll never get on average what they're showing.
To show up in the resultant crucible tree.
What also I was gonna say, for all the peoples who were like, man, I'm kind of overwhelmed. I don't know how to play PoE. Like, I need to follow a build. This league is so fucking OP that if you just play some of the new shit, the game didn't get any harder. There's already builds that trivialize most of the game. So now for sure, if you just play through the game and use the new stuff, how could you possibly make a bad build? Truly. This item might be totally broken as well. It sounds like a challenge. Using Flame Blast. I've played Flame Blast like the last 3 leagues. It's really good. Would you like to make a bet? I mean, it depends how good you expect your first playthrough to be. But my bar is pretty low on... I don't know if you think you have to beat Uber bosses. Anyway. There's a situation with a lot of unique items where it's saying this one can have the Crucible passive tree. It's the only item in the game. It's a helmet that can have the passive tree. It's very likely that you can corrupt this into a rare item and keep the passive tree, because there's a couple items that do that. Like, I forget the name of them. Is it Stranglethorn, the amulet? Weird stuff like that. So it's totally possible that you could get a whole passive tree on this, and then the base helmet otherwise kind of sucks. You can Valorb it and turn it into a rare item randomly, but it would potentially keep the passive skill tree, because the skill tree itself seems like it's not part of the actual mods. Strangle Grasp? Yeah, there might be some weird fuckery there with this item.
An encounter difficulty scaling and deep weapon customization with a power level that we have never seen before. Without a doubt, some of Path of Exile's most powerful weapons will be forged in Crucible. We can't wait to see what you manage to create.
Yeah. Show me the unique
Like all
items.
recent Path of Exile expansions, Crucible includes a lot of changes with the goal of improving Path of Exile's endgame.
Wait, what were gateways?
One area we
oh,
wanted to
the
address
teleporting.
was mobility on the focus on the time travel. In this area, levels of
Breach. I didn't follow any of the
restrictions are
shitty stuff about Breach because I almost
and
never
for a
do it.
skill, keep breaches read about in the patch notes, such as changes to the
I mean, I
trade,
do it,
also revamping
but
Abyss
not
in a similar
enough.
way.
The Abyss stuff sounded weird to me because he was talking about some meta shit that I'd never even heard of. I thought everyone just hated that you had to do Abyssal Depths because Abyssal Depths don't give you any rewards. And most of the time it would trigger a depth and then you would miss out on the other good shit. But then he was... I don't know. I don't know. I have to see how like they've changed the unique items for this.
The Lightless Legion, both through being able to access them more easily and because Breach
by overhauling many of its masteries. Secondly,
half of the masteries on the existing ones.
This is the other part of me saying it'll be hard to make a bad build.
All of the attention. You can see some of the
because on some of these masteries, the nodes that they're giving were just so strong that like, fuck, dude. You know what I mean? 10%, yeah, 10% instant leech is insane. That's like build defining. You would find that on a unique item like obscenely strong. And they're just like, no, you sure, you can have it. Full life. I was hoping that you can get something similar to the full life where in order to be a mana character, you have to have none of your mana reserved. But if you want to reserve clarity, which makes total sense because that's mana regeneration, you have to reserve like 1% of your mana. But then it doesn't count as having no mana reserve. So I'm kind of hoping Mana Mastery has a solution to that in the same way that full life above 90. %15% increased life if body armor has no life. That's also sick because there's a lot of really good unique chest armors that just don't have life. And then 15% is pretty decent. It's kind of a band-aid for some bad uniques. Like that. Love that. Armor applies to chaos damage taken from hits. Also, if they haven't nerfed, what, Eternal Damnation was it? I kind of forget exactly how it works. But they 100% did that for sure, because they can't let something be good for more than one league. That node by itself is ridiculously strong. Anything where armor applies as to stuff that is not physical. New emote in Discord. Okay, well, what do you want me to do about it? Fuck you! Was this one there before? 10% of fizz from hits taken as chaos. There's a really powerful defensive setup you can do where you take all damage taken as chaos, then you have chaos resist with laugh. I'm scared to open it with my screen being captured. That's good though. Add it? I will after this. I'll have to see if it's it looks like it's probably short enough that I can put it as a real emote. Because I think we need one additional animated one. Recover 5% of energy shield when you take physical damage. Oh, wrong one. That is not. Myriad, what?
Where did you get such power?
I was
Hold on, thank you.
experimented on in the hospital.
Star react more remotes.
Yeah, these are all really important because it's hard to get defenses. And these are actually good defensive nodes. Before, like, armor and energy shield, like, all of the armor masteries and energy shield masteries were, like, very bad. Unselectably bad. And now they are very good. Things that you can't really get anywhere else. Or that add to archetypes that already exist that are already really strong, like the Fizz from Hits is Chaos. I'm a little worried that maybe they took power from those places and moved it to the masteries, and then the patch notes you're going to see that it was nerfed overall but made more accessible, because they do that shit a lot. But if everything is the same, then these new masteries are like honestly 10 times stronger than it was before.
Of some being about armor instead affects all of them.
And it is good because it is accessible, so you can just like, you don't have to worry about like what unique item has it if you don't know what you're doing. Dice. Yeah, I'm good with more accessible. Same. 10% of leech is instant. Old game has a history with instant leech being super OP, especially if you do that on Slayer, who can over leech. Instant leech is very, very, very game breakingly strong. Even 10% of it is game breakingly strong. And that's just on your mastery tree. 25% more damage with hits against enemies that cannot have life leached against them. That's stupid. That's like, that's a lot of damage. That's like their weird band-aid for Slayer not being able to leech from fucking, what was it, bloodletting arch nemesis enemies. That's not the way you solve that problem. People hated that. But 25% more multiplier on them is weird. I guess you just kill them quicker so you have to be less scared of them, but no one's going to take it to solve the problem. Vampiric? Yeah. My bad. %25 of damage taken recouped as life if leech was removed by filling unreserved life. That's some fucking big ass Thunder Cube shit. I don't even understand what it means. I think I get it. And you wouldn't use that on Slayer. I think that's to make Petrified Blood better if you reserve more life than you were supposed to. But it's really weird. It's like a very specific interaction that you're not supposed to be doing in the first place. And it's hard to explain the exact case scenario, but that's weird. I don't think anyone's going to use that ever. It's weird. Yeah. All looks good.
To be freed up has been used to add some powerful becoming lucky is extremely useful before you've optimized.
I feel like spell suppression is gonna get fucking murdered on the patch notes. I don't know what, but I just sense something's happening. Inflict exposure on enemies when you suppress their spell damage. Who cares? No one will ever take that. They added some bad options. Hey, we finally got rid of some shit options and replaced them with even more specific unusable options. And then yeah, that is just more suppress. That's strong. That shit. You have phasing. Yeah, all the conditional if you have suppressed recently are all terrible. They removed one of the really good ones here, actually. Spell suppression mastery had you gain critical chance equal to your spell suppression, which was always like 100% because everyone has to. If you don't know, every fucking build in the whole game has to have 100% spell suppress if you like not dying. And they took out the crit. That's kind of booed. That's kind of booed, as in bad. That's real booed. Link skill gems. No one cares about link skills. They could have removed them this patch and no one would even notice. Additional projectile on the skill tree is big. It's very, 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 very big. Nearby enemies have reduced cooldown recovery rate. The 10%, that is kind of irrelevant, but like you were saying, that would make Maven go into her memory phase 10%. That's really weird. The increased cooldown recovery rate is really strong. There's a lot of stuff you can abuse in the game with that. So I think Saboteurs can end up being pretty popular for that node. Things like cast on crit have an internal cooldown timer. So like lower that and get more procs from cast on crit and stuff like that. There's a billion things. And 30% is a lot because I think the most you can get on an item is like 20%. And it's only a couple items like belts. So that's very, 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 very strong. Triggers level 20 summon skitterbots when allocated. Less damage with triggered spells. I like that a lot. I was thinking for a league start, I was thinking of doing Blade Trap, and that would work there for sure. Trigger bots is an aura that normally reserves 25% of your mana. So to use less reservation on your mana is really big, especially for trap and mine builds, because laying down mines also reserves mana, which can be a bit of a pain. So this like frees up a lot of power for anyone that wants to use trigger bots. Oh, not trigger bots. Yes, that's skitter bots. I assume then that trigger bots are skitter bots without the chill and shock, but I guess there's no way of knowing. Yeah. Trigger bots. Oh, that makes sense too. If they triggered, I mean, I guess there's still no way of knowing yet, but if you could trigger, like when you cast on crit, it's the source of origin comes from your trigger bot instead of you. And then that might even be giving you less damage because it says bots with an S. So maybe like 2 bots are casting on crit instead of just 1. So that would actually, even with the 35% left, that's a ridiculous damage increase if that's how it works. So patch notes, so hopefully, or when they show more information, would be able to explain that. But that's either worst case scenario. I think this is still one of the best ascendancy nodes in the game. Didn't he show all the other ones?
Great for triggered spells as it indirectly increases their damage.
Wait, wasn't he? Oh, he did talk about it. I was a little confused.
Whole new specialization, triggers. There are 2 notable passives that help with this. Like Clockwork grants you the increased cooldown recovery rate stat, which is a pretty rare one. This is great for triggered spells as it indirectly increases their damage. This notable also makes your enemies have longer cooldowns, which can be useful in certain boss fights, for example causing the Maven's memory game to occur less often. The Perfect Crime notable passive summons 2 trigger bots, which override the location of where a triggered spell is being cast, and instead causes it to trigger twice, once from each of their locations.
Yeah, that is so broken. That is
the layout for the.
That is profoundly broken. Probably won't shotgun. I don't know why it wouldn't, because it's triggering from 2 different sources. It's like if you use cluster mines, it's triggering from this. It's like this trigger bot is casting this trigger bot is casting this. It is 100% gonna shotgun or overlap. And then it's only a 35% less damage, but you're getting like 100% more damage because it's happening twice. What the fuck? What the fuck? That is potentially for sure the strongest thing in the game for like an ascendancy node. And even beyond an ascendancy node, like I can't think of much else that would be as strong as that. Which goes back again to my saying just use the new stuff that they added and you can't possibly make a bad build. Only downside is it not happening on you. Yeah, but then like if you use, they're using the example they showed, what was it, ice spears? That's good for ice spears because then the trigger bots are probably behind you. It gives ice spears time to change into their second phase, and it's also not even considering using like Cosprees or anything like that. Just getting double ice novas overlapping, that shit is... I guess I'm gonna start Saboteur? This shit sounds so fucking broken.
Saboteur's trap and mine ascendancy passives has changed, so that there aren't
Increased effect of auras from mines. I don't even know what auras from mines do. I've never played a miner. What do they even do?
separate 4-pointers for traps and mines. Now each one has a
skills used by traps have increased area of effect. When you're I'm sorry, I'm going back to the other one, the trigger bots. What they said, and I thought this was a little bit weird with Pathfinder 2, what they're saying and what they're trying to do lately across multiple ascendancies is when they say, oh, like Necromancer is the ascendancy that creates summons. So we don't want it to always be a Necromancer, so we've nerfed Necromancer and spread them out a bit. And they were like, oh, Saboteur is always the Trapper. So we want to like change some of their nodes. Well, he's always going to be the cast on crit guy now, 100% of the time. I could see the argument for still doing it with Templar Man. But can I? Can I really? With double triggers? When I started playing, I thought Miner was the name people use for Delve characters. I thought that for like 2 years at least.
2-pointer that is connected to the same shared 4-pointer. We have also completely reworked Bomb Specialist to be
Hits have... Nobody really likes these chance to take less damage. Or chance to deal... I mean, 50% more is a lot. But... it's good, but... I think it's going to be the same as, what was it? The old, Trickster? The old Trickster that had, like, the chance to deal bonus chaos damage. With non-chaos damage. Which, like, mathematically was not... It was good, but not insane. 20% for 50% more is... sounds way better, but also... it seems like one of those things that you'll take because it's good enough, because your build probably doesn't have enough ascendancy points. Like, if you're going traps, you only spend 2 points for all of the trap nodes. And then what else? Like, cooldown, I guess. I'm still thinking about the trigger bots. That
specifically tied to area damage, so it's a slightly more general skill. It both gives you some area damage as well as some defense against incoming area damage against you. The Pathfinder has been overdue for some attention, especially with recent features such as concoction skills that she could get the ability to specialize in. We also wanted the Flask-themed ascendancy to have a proactive way of improving Life Flask usage.
grant bonuses to non-channeling skills you use by consuming 3 charges from a flask of each of the following types. Why is it... who is like out here like channeling skills are overpowered? Let's fucking always have shit not work on channeled skills. Why? They removed channeling skills from the skill tree completely. I don't like I think Cyclone is a lot of the reason why, but Cyclone's damage doesn't even come from Cyclone anymore. It's from fucking Shockwave, which this would still work for because Shockwave is a non-channeling skill. Brother in Christ. Could you do a Shockwave build and your trigger bots would do the shockwaves? Like if you were Cyclone Shockwave, would your trigger bots trigger because it's a triggered ability? That is also fucked up. And with the CDR, yeah, that is... I might go for that. That seems like the not obvious way to take it, so maybe it won't be as expensive. Yeah, it seems like it might be a little bit annoying because they're going to be following you instead of where you are. But Shockwave AoE can get so big. And it has the area damage. Bonkers with the new disfavor. That sounds good to me. Hold on. What is it called? Is it Earthquake? No, it is Shockwave. Dude, Shockwave support is already, like, so freaking strong. Anyway, grant bonus to non-channel skills if you use blah, 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 blah. Crit penetrate. Seems okay.
Master Distiller allows you to turn most of your skills into concoction-like effects. Master Surge
are death triggers? You talking about cast on death? I think you would still have to die if that's what you're thinking, but then you would duplicate the cast on death, which I mean, cast on death builds are already one-shotting Uber bosses, so I don't think it's actually it'll be easier to do. But
now effectively gives all of your life flasks the enduring effect. Previously only
that's really good. Turn Pathfinder into a flask overleech slayer.
Only found on mana flasks. Finally, both of the major flask-themed branches now have some form of flask charge recovery. There are other improvements to the Pathfinder ascendancy, such as nature's
this node as well. This is what I'm saying. Dude, before let's say you're a new player and you're playing Pathfinder and you're kind of struggling, how could you struggle doing a poison build with that node? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
Exile, now interacting with Wither to improve all.
Is this node that good? People like Occultist. And what is the Occultist Wither one? Hold up. Occultist is 15% more chaos damage. Every second, inflict withered on nearby enemies. Every second, inflict one wither on nearby enemies for 15 seconds. This one is just fucking... Increased wither effect is deceptively powerful in how quickly the effect of withered increases your damage. And 25% chance to inflict withered is like... The moment you start fighting anything, like with Venom Gyre, they're max withered stacks instantly, without a thought. Normally, withered is super annoying because you have to have like a way to apply it, and what people will usually do is have wither totems. So you'll have to like, okay, I'm going to fight the boss. I'm going to place my wither totems. They're going to cast wither on the boss, and then I'm going to fight the boss. And then your wither totems have like 1 HP and they die, and you have to keep recasting when it's really obnoxious. This is just, this basically says you have all your withered stacks up all the time. And your wither is stronger, which is probably better than it just saying you do, what was it before? It was like 25% more damage with chaos skills. 50% effective withered is probably about the same as that or more. I'd have to POB it, but it's good.
All forms of your chaos damage, rather than
It just makes the character so much easier to play.
Details in the patch notes that we'll be posting after the live stream.
Like Val, Venom Guy, or Pathfinder would be really strong.
Crucible introduces 9 new Val skills. Last expansion, there was an emphasis on
Or
melee
Poisonous
Val
Concoction
skills.
as
In
well.
Crucible, we're making sure that many other types of builds get
Yeah,
new skills.
it was
to
just
build
going to be
around.
Poisonous Concoction.
Val skills let us introduce quite powerful effects that we couldn't normally give to a regular skill that can be used constantly. They also implicitly act as a buff to the underlying skill. Val Absolution upgrades one of your Sentinels of Absolution into an Apparition of Innocence.
This is cool, but I
You
never
only
play
have
minion
one
builds and I
apparition
don't
once,
care.
But just check out these massive
But I
AoE
like that
skills
it
uses.
exists. This build is really strong. Any build that uses
Val
Absolution is
Arctic Armor
boys.
instantly encases you in ice, preventing non-instant
This
actions
one-
including movement, but granting massive damage reduction against hits. After a short duration, it also starts to regenerate your energy shield and mana at a fast rate. Both the damage reduction and regeneration last for a few seconds, or until you have been hit 3 times. It cannot be manually cancelled. Because the skill is instant, it's a great emergency button against dangerous boss slams. It also makes you count as being frozen, despite Arctic Armor normally making you freeze immune. Having a
It's a little annoying that it's a Val skill, so you can't just have it on a cooldown, so you'd really only realistically be able to use it against a boss. Maybe not for every single time that like Exarch is going to explode like that. But this skill seems like, I don't know. I don't want to say OP, but it's really interesting that you could just put, like, if you were doing what is it? Is it Blade Flurry, the one where you get all the cyclones around you, the spell cyclone? Do that and then just go into ice and your damage output is already out there. Or even if you're a fucking minion cuck build and you just like don't want to think at all for the next like however many seconds, and you're just like, I'll just let my minions kill everything while I'm actually invulnerable. Because I think he said it was 80% damage reduction.
Another way to self-freeze may be of interest to a few mad scientist build.
Yeah, and self-freeze has a few weird things that otherwise you could never do, because why? There's like I forget what it is. There's some unique item that's like while you're frozen, get X. There's also the replica roomies that makes you stand in place anyway. And there's a lot of like grasping vines and weird shit. Place totems become immune.
Creators in the community. Val Lightning Arrow fires a barrage
Yeah.
of piercing projectiles that cause.
What if you were freeze immune, though? I guess you'd have to not be freeze immune to be able to do it at all, which is a problem. Could you move if you were in Cam's roots? No, because frozen isn't action speed. It said it froze you in spite of freeze immunity?
Lightning to strike nearby targets whenever they hit
kinda
an
weird.
enemy. After a short amount of time, or when they collide with terrain, their arrows randomly change direction and continue flying.
This skill's
This
just
occurs
goofy.
a number of times before the arrows expire.
Just a
Each
little
arrow can hit
goofy.
the same target once per redirect. Because the arrows travel for a set time before redirecting, rather than a set distance, projectile speed modifiers affect the distance traveled. High projectile speed lets you clear out huge areas with them, while reducing your projectile speed increases the chance of them hitting the same target multiple times. With very low projectile speed, the skill can hit a
I'm really
single
curious
target
about
30
Val
plus times.
Firestorm.
Val Reap conjures a ring of scythes that deal damage to all enemies in a circular area. The scythes leave behind a pool of blood that
This is really cool to me. I like any ability that leaves behind like a dot on the ground that does a bunch of damage. And I've never like played a Reap build, but Reap is right up my alley. So I like that.
deals heavy physical damage over time.
Is Myriad on today? No Myriad this week. Sorry. It's Thursday. Why would there be Myriad?
Grants a
Sad
large number of the blood
face.
charges used by normal Reap on use, as well as temporarily higher maximum blood charge capacity, substantially powering up the regular version of the skill. Path of Exile Crucible introduces 5 other Val skills we'll reveal over the next week. Val Animate Weapon,
I wasn't even listening to what these were because all I saw was Firestorm.
Val Domination, Val Ice Shot,
I'm an ice shot enjoyer. I didn't even see it. Mostly because playing bow builds is fucking obnoxious.
Val Rejuvenation Totem, and Val Firestorm. This expansion also introduces more than 10 new unique items. There are 3 in particular I'd like to show you today.
Is my wife still here?
Price is a unique helmet that is a new effect.
This is what wife asked about. Dude, recently I was telling Ashley about Path of Exile stuff, and you guys are never going to believe this. She was interested to hear about it. Which is like unbelievable. But apparently not that interested because I think she's gone. She's not in chat anymore. Or she's not talking. Love reignite it? I kept having to check her. I was like, "You sure, Ashley? This isn't like boring? Like you have no idea of what I'm saying." She's like, "No, keep going." Ah! This shit is oh, I did not see the 24% reduced max life on it. Okay. That changes things. Changes item swap? Not really. So reduce life, regenerate that much life on an item is useful. People wear one of those belts that's like regen 200 HP on it to be able to survive righteous fire. So I think like there's some weird uses to get a lot of regen. There's another one that I can't think of off the top of my head right now. But regen that much life on one item is really good. Reserves 8% of enemy monsters' life is weird because...
Reserving enemy maximum life. This does exactly what it implies, causing nearby enemies to start at 92% maximum life. While this increases your clear speed...
So, like, they show him jumping on Elder here. And Elder has started with less HP because its life is reserved. So, it's the top of the HP bar that gets reserved. And then if you also have, like, Slayer Cull, which is, what 15% culling, you would be able to, you basically benefit from like an Omega Cull. The enemy has 23% less life. So yeah, you can benefit from culling and this at the same time. And that's a lot of fucking like effective damage. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, no, now that you mentioned it, I am curious if you could item swap it. So you put it on and it reserves their life, and then you take it off. Then that life is gone? You just fucking clap 8% of a boss's life? If that's the case, then I think everyone would do it. Maybe it comes back. Not the way life reserved usually works.
Against all enemies, it's especially useful against bosses. The helmet's drawback is that it reduces your maximum life.
And the chat is saying 1 alch. They're probably not wrong. There's probably like a 1 chaos item, but I think it's going to be pretty underrated.
Life regeneration and block and stun recovery to counteract this. Tainted Pact is an amulet that causes...
I have a Tainted Pact, let me tell you that. A tainted little fanny. Taking chaos damage over time heals you instead while each... Hey, do you want to fight Uber Cirrus? His degen are chaos, right? Who? Are they physical or are they chaos or are they half and half? Even if they're half okay, well, if you're healing from the chaos over time, then you're healing the amount that the fizz over time is dealing you. So like Uber Cirrus is a really, really, really obnoxiously made endgame boss where he covers 100% of the ground and ground degens that can end up like fucking instant killing most builds. And he is not fun to fight. And this item just seems like if you hate fighting him, you can put this on for the boss fight. And then it could feel like the boss fight was designed well. For a brief moment. But you're giving up a really good item slot because the rest of this item is totally useless.
Chaos damage over time to heal you while you're leeching life. While the amulet provides a decent amount of life leech itself, it'll certainly require a few tricks to unlock its full potential. Widow Hail is a unique bow that is different from any.
Also, Death's Oath gives you damage, chaos damage taken over time. I'm really interested in this item. This item's very cool. I think Void Fletcher is trash nowadays. In it. Consumes a void charge to trigger level 20 void shot. So you'd get like level 42, 40, 44 void shot. And a whole bunch of added cold damage. You get fucking... I guess you'd even gain void charges quicker. I don't know. 45? Yeah, you're right. But all of this, all of this extra shit is on top of, why wouldn't you just play Triggerbot Saboteur? Like, who cares how good this item is? Are you playing this on a Saboteur who's triggering shit? A Void Fletcher is a trigger. That is a triggered ability. A Void Shot. I want to look at unique quivers real quick. If there's any like very bizarre outlier that I'm not thinking of. Oh, what's the, they replaced it with the new one. The damage per stat bow quiver. Maloney's. That might increase it to a 2-second cooldown with the increased effects. So I might just brick these. Steelworm is weird. I tried to make a build with Steelworm. It wouldn't work without flat damage on it. Like, any bow that doesn't have flat damage on it is not going to do anything. Where's the, this one? Adds cold per dexterity, per strength, per intelligence. It would be 200% of this. So if you were a stat stacking bow, you might actually get this fucking quiver to do something. Unless it could be doing really weird shit too, where it increases the amount of dexterity required. But, you know, who knows? Otherwise, I think just really good rare bows, quivers would be better than everything on this list.
The other bow in Path of Exile. As a weapon, it does basically no base damage and doesn't grant any stats of its own.
Yeah, where you play Saboteur.
Dramatically increase the power of mods provided by your quiver.
You do.
Needless to say, this could produce some pretty ridiculous outcomes with good rare or unique quivers. We'll reveal some of the other new uniques over the coming week. Ruthless is a game.
Ruthless? You got fucking kidding me with this ruthless shit? You start giving us all movement skills. Play for free now. Ow! Crucibles, do your crucibles. I like anything that allows you to charge up your crucible to be a higher power than you should do and get yourself killed by it. Love that. Whoops, pressing back took me way back. Forge your own oh, you can hover over these. These aren't pictures. I don't think they've ever shown. I guess they have. That's cool. To take a look at a few of the possibilities in here. Minions have blah 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 blah. I mean, that's cool. They showed that you could do it to shields. So I wonder if you can do it to quivers and then get that bow to buff the passive nodes on a quiver. This shit's OP. Oh, increased reservation. Never mind. I just assumed. Look at me assuming out here. Wow, a balanced aura node in Path of Exile? What? That's OP though. Socketed gems are supported by. Any weapon that has socketed gems are supported by on it. Profoundly overpowered. That's like 30% more damage for some builds. And if you could get multiple, if you had is socketed by lesser and greater multiple projectiles, you're donezo. Increased explicit speed modifier magnitudes. Yeah, okay. The shield. Shield crush build could be really cool if it was increasing the implicit armor and it's adding flat armor to the shield. Like shield crush could actually be really strong. A squire shield for bows? No. I mean, having the passives, that's what you're talking about. What the fuck is test to do? Is that just a random passive? Or is that from cluster jewels? It's a notable passive. Okay. Those words mean something, trust me. That's a yikes. That's a... Okay. That's broken. that's actually fucking broken. For very complicated reasons. I could explain the build for like 10 minutes. And I would still have trouble myself understanding what I'm explaining, but fucking strength stacking builds convert their strength to spell damage with the Iron Fortress armor, and they always use Battle Mage Warcry because it gives you physical damage as spell damage. It's like a whole fucking convert all of your shit. And the increased Warcry buff effect on Battle Mage's Cry is an insane damage boost for that. And usually you can only get like 20% on a helmet enchant. So like 40% Warcry buff effect. And you don't care about the area of effect at all because you're actually just trying to get the buff. Like this. I wouldn't be surprised if you just threw that node onto a PoB of one of those style of builds if it wasn't like 25% more damage. Weird. Increased effect of shock on you. When affected by shock while channeling. That's also really busted. Not really busted, but very useful. These nodes are crazy though. These nodes crazy though. These nodes fucking crazy though. I want to know how rare the ability to modify uniques are. 'Cause I think a lot of what I do or want to do with a build depends on how hard that is to get. Goofy shit. Are they just showing? Why are they just showing scarabs? Did they change this? I guess technically, Stygian spires didn't really exist before. It looks like I'm looking over at it. Master and evolved meta. Dude. Do I master the meta simply by allocating perfect crime? I think normally I wouldn't want to go for like the thing that I know is obviously overpowered. Because then I'm like, it's boring. Everyone's going to do it. It's going to be really expensive. Like there was a couple leagues ago where I think it was like Miracle Under was like, this is obviously going to be like the Lightning League. And let me not do Lightning. Perfect Crime. If I don't play it now, this shit's gone next league. There's no way. So it's like, do it now or never do it. Hold on, let me look at the whole thing. Because I am thinking Cyclone Shockwave. And maybe trigger bots only trigger spells because it says less damage with spells and not attacks. So maybe you can't do Shockwave. Sorry, it's like not on the screen. It's taking up too much screen space. This is the last league. No, there should be another league before PoE 2. At a minimum, one more league. It's literally the perfect crime. It's fucked up. It is certainly fucked up. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm hoping it's not just spells, but it sounds like it's gonna be. Enhance your ability to Val skills. Is PoE closing when PoE 2 is out? It's the same game. It's like a Overwatch 2 situation, but done correctly. There's a whole new Path of Exile 2 campaign that has brand new Ascendancy classes that you can only get by playing the PoE 2 campaign, I think, is how they've described it before. And then PoE 1 will still exist the way that it does, but then they connect together at the end game. So you can play the PoE 1 campaign or the PoE 2 campaign, but PoE 2 is just gonna be better, right? So attacks don't get the less damage. I doubt that's the case. There aren't a lot of triggered attacks. I mean, if I'm really thinking about it, Shockwave might be the only one that could even potentially function with, except for like counter attack. That would just be weird. But if it doesn't allow attacks, I don't think I'm gonna play it just because I don't like triggered spell stuff. And like maybe later in the league when I have like a cast on crit bow, then I might try it. I wish they would show Firestorm. It might be in the patch notes. All this shit look cool. Become a champion. Get ready for Exile Con. Our next live stream will take place from main stage, held on July 28th in Auckland, New Zealand. Yeah, because they already say Path of Exile 2.22 reveal will be there. So there is at least another league before Path of Exile 2 comes out. Unless they're like doing the super omega long con and they just made that shit up to trick you.
We also don't know that it is one of, like, to emphasize here, Ruthless, Solo Self-Found, Hardcore, both pinnacle bosses. Right? That's hard.
Yeah.
There's a ticking clock before those ExileCon tickets aren't valid anymore, right? You know?
I know how blurry it is. I have it at 160p. Man, I want to see the patch notes, but also I wanted to play Dredge, but also I wasn't expecting it to be the most OP interesting league they ever announced. Maloney is a trigger attack. Yeah. But then you can only get a 3-socket trigger, right? And no, actually I think Maloney is always a spell. I know there's the replica one, I forget. Wait, no, you're right. You're right. There's a triggered bow attack. I have to play Dredge now. I have to go to the bathroom now, so I'm going to be right back. Wait, what? We're making bratwurst? Wait, chat spamming login? I missed it.
Any changes planned for expedition gear? What's next with Ward?
I'm unaware of any changes planned for expedition gear at the moment. I mean, at this stage, it's pretty much a matter of they can read the patch notes in a couple of minutes, and that will answer, and Control F Ward, right? And otherwise, keep posting feedback about what stuff you'd like to see changes to, and we'll look into it for the upcoming expansions.
Perfect. Well, let's make that 1 minute. People want to know if fishing rods will have crucible trees, Chris.
I'm not going to answer that. I'm going to let them work it out, right?
Perfect. All right. Thank you very much for your time, Chris. Thanks
Are you welcome?
Fuck, patch notes time. Dredge time delayed.
Folks later. Bye-bye.
Is that bratwurst? I'm still thinking about fucking, they got me, They got me. I've been had. I've been got. My back or right back? I'm neither right now. I'm in between.
People bring food to you, or you keep food stashed next to the computer because you literally do not want to get up from the computer.
I think all the stuff
Patch notes more like note patches. Am I right?
You're right. I think all the stuff I want to see won't be there for a while. Like the Val skill gem stuff. Ashley, I tried to kiss Ster and got rejected. I'm surprised you would tell them all that. Shame me? How is that shame to me? Isn't that shame to her? She fucking stinks. I was gonna kiss her, but then I sniffed before I kissed. Probably stinky. She eats these, like, I don't know, they're these like sour cream or something chips. And they're absolutely disgusting. To me, they smell like bologna Lunchables. It's like an ungodly scent. And she tried to buy new, like, crackers that are similar but not the same to see if it'd be any different, and the answer is no. She has an aura around her. And it's not even just like, oh, her breath smells. No, like when she was eating these chips, I would open the door to her room and go, this place smells disgusting. And I would close the door and leave.
And then it's like, all right, you got to fill.
Claim. Yeah, I don't know if these patch notes are actually going to be viewable. You keep her in a room? Well, also if Ashley eats apples, she will fart so much that it is also like a disgusting, rancid, just fucking cesspool of a room. Like if she leaves her door open a crack and she's been eating apples, the hallway will smell bad. Like a low oxygen levels. I can't breathe anymore. Wife exposed? I've mentioned this many times. What? Nerd shit. And a series of profane modifiers that can roll a mass and logbooks and double biomes on high corners. These modifiers can cause monsters to deal extra physical damage and chaos damage. Okay, who cares? I was gonna say, I was surprised that there was no new like end game boss level shit when they also made everyone a million times stronger. There's allergies outside? It's true. It's true. I just want to look skill balance changes. Oh, they got all of the different clusters. Man, see, it's like, it's hard to... It's one thing about a guy talking on a live stream, but when I get down to like getting excited about these 5% changes, that's when I feel like a loser. Control F melee. Ascendant changes. What? Oh, the Ascendant. Yeah, obviously. I got baited. New gem skill balance. This is what we want to see. New gems. We've added 3 new support gems. They didn't even announce that. These support gems are all given out in Act 1, and they supplement the early games and some of the archetypes, as well as introducing players to interesting mechanics early on, such as gems triggering more triggers for fucking trigger bots. A standalone version of the snipe skill gen. Boom! That's a login. That's fuck, dude. I've been wanting that for a long time. That also is a really big power increase if it's the same thing as the snipe skill gem, because you could only have a 4-socket snipe skill before. And snipe was really fucking good for one build ever. But it was really, it's like the only playable bleed build in the whole game. Anyway, sorry, I wasn't Mana Forge arrow support is now offered for the ranger. For completing it can be say what it is. Say what it is. Say. Would that be like Archmage arrows? I might be playing bow guy, Ashley. There's a lot of bow shit that's lining up. Prismatic burst. Explain the gems at the top of the notes. Prismatic. Mana Forge arrows, causing them to trigger when you've spent and amount of total mana on other bow attacks based on the supported skill's mana cost. Bow skills deal more damage based on their mana cost. Okay, so log in, bow guy, trigger bot, Mana Forged arrows bow with Val Ice Shot. Archmage bow. Well, there better be some goddamn mana changes for that to even matter. Then we have Prismatic Burst, supports attacks, causing them to trigger the Prismatic Burst spell. Also another trigger spell. Cannot support triggered attacks or attacks used by things other than you. Blah, 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 blah. Prismatic Burst chooses an element at random and deals damage to that type in an area. Having a higher strength makes it more likely to choose fire. That's interesting too, because then you could still technically do a bow Prismatic Burst trigger. But then if you're doing trigger bots, then that probably would suck because they'd spawn on the bots. And if you're not doing trigger bots, you're a high school dropout. Your build sucks. Why are you doing trigger skills and you're not using trigger bots? Dummy. Momentum supports attack skills that aren't triggered. Using those skills will gain momentum, which is lost when you move. I wish it said more. Including teleporting is also the first time they've ever done that. Okay. Back down to skill gems. Those are definitely interesting support gems, though. Usually when they, I don't know, like new support gems are usually kind of boring. Is Mirrored happening today? Never mind. Got him. Handled. Momentum is lost when moving? Well, you're building up attack momentum, which is lost when you stop attacking. Destroyed, delete it. You're banned from the channel now. Bow cluster's relevant because apparently I'm playing a bow guy. I don't know. The bow attacks fire additional arrow, blah, blah, blah. I hate how they say this thing that did this no longer does this, now it does this. It makes the patch note so much harder to read when I just want to skim it. No longer does this. Okay, whatever. Apparently, like, almost nothing changed. Dude, this is just reading nerd shit. I'll look at this later. Yeah, wait, no, I wanted to read the balance changes, not this shit. A number of specific changes, primarily to skills acquired in the early game, have been made to make playing field even between. That's such a long time coming that everyone has been leveling with the same builds for like 4 years. Majority of the skills changed here have either been buffed or have received nerfs to early game power while compensating at higher levels. Oh no. A few gems which are overperforming overall. Melee splash. Okay, Awakening splash. Okay, Blight now has a base. Oh, they nerf Blight? They buff Blight? These patch notes are annoying to read. They buffed Blight. That makes sense because they left behind a lot of skills like Blight when they buffed all self-cast. Explosive Trap. Apparently was to Shattering Steel. Shit, Shattering Steel. Fuck. Previously 8 to 12. So Shattering Steel is stronger at any game. It now also has projectiles deal 50% more damage. These are so annoying to read. Well, didn't it have that already? Yeah, it did. Scaling up to 110. Previously 100. Shattering Steel was one of the strongest builds I made. Like, personally. And it got buffed. Shattering Steel is very good. One to 6 at level 1. Scaling up to... Lightning Tendrils login, dude. Oh, never mind. They made it fucking weird. Poisonous Concoction. You did what? I've never actually even played it. I'm assuming they're nerfing it. Spectral. That's a really big buff for Spectral Throw. Less cooldown, so it can hit things more. They nerf Spark. I hate Spark. Fuck you, Spark. In an effort to make a wider variety of builds competitive for leveling, we initially considered broadening the blah 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 blah. What did you do? What did you? Onslaught support has been removed. My disappointment is immeasurable. And momentum's the opposite, because you lose it when you move. Onslaught helmet still exists. Items that previously granted onslaught support. Yeah, I guess the onslaught helmet still, like, who fucking cares though? No, there's still a lot of sources of onslaught, but onslaught support specifically was used in every attack. Like, every build that could get it while leveling used it while leveling, because it and it, you better have fucking buffed Bone Shatter. The ability for melee attacks to stun enemies has remained unchanged. Cool. Molten Shell is overpowered and is way better than all other guard skills without much investment. True. So you buffed the other guard skills, right? We've reduced the amount of damage the buff provided by Molten Shell can take. Cool. Now we fucking dumpstered it. Well, how bad is it? 10% of your armor up to a maximum of 5,000. Previously 20%, 10,000. They fucking dumpstered it. Holy shit. Okay. Okay. That makes the Val ice freezing yourself thing even better. Because people would use Molten Shell to just like block boss mechanics because it could absorb that much damage. But it can't now. Guard skills are dead. The other guard skills are so bad. How do I explain this to non-PoE gamers? Guard skills are so bad that you don't use them. You only use Molten Shell because it was the only good one. It's not that it outperformed other guard skills, it's that it was the only one that actually reduced damage and was worth pressing the skill. The only other one might have been the mana one, because that has other uses. Yeah, you use them on your left click because they're instant casts, so you don't have to like think about pressing them. So when you click to move, you automatically sometimes have a little bit extra armor, but it's to the point that it barely even matters. And now, yeah, all guard skills suck. Except for... What skill was the Val Ice Freeze? That was a Val skill, right? What was it tied to? Arctic Armor. Val Arctic Armor. Weird. Ever thought of putting on my left click? Do it! Anything that's instant cast, people do it for Cold Vortex as well. Because it's instant cast, you just walk around and leave vortexes everywhere. Simplified projectile returning. I don't understand what they're saying, but what they're saying is they destroyed Nimbus, right? What is this breathing so loud meme? Did someone like derail Germa for like an hour with it? It's supposed to make the streamer angry? Well, I can hear myself talking, so I can hear how loud I'm breathing. I can hear that. Yeah, all of this is a really, it sounds like, I'm not even like fully reading it. All of this sounds like a really long-winded way to describe the Nimbus ring that they just added that was super broken isn't broken anymore. Yeah, specifically Caustic Arrow was broken. Val strike skills can no longer be supported by Ancestral Call. Here's the melee changes we were looking for. That's sick. Okay. Damn. Dead. Murdered. Annihilate it. I'm actually happy. I fucking hate those. But still. That's big. Damn. the live stream really, whoa, what the fuck are we? And then you read the player balance has just been straight like, no, you're dead, you're dead, you're dead. Delete it, delete it, delete it, delete it. You were having fun, fuck you, fuck you. The corruption notable passive provided too high of a damage boost. We've changed this so now provides 20% increased effective withered. Yeah, like I was saying earlier with the Pathfinder and effective withered being really strong. I was gonna say like half the stuff that they gave to Ascendancies they probably removed from the tree. So they nerfed that. Dude, they're destroying them. Okay, I was looking for some balance changes. I've certainly been balanced. Maybe some new playable skills that weren't good before. And what I got was they removed Onslaught. Yup. And I thought when they were saying like we're gonna buff some skills so that the early game playing field is even between leveling options, I thought they were gonna like acknowledge that everybody has been leveling with like Cremation, Armageddon Brand, Stormblast Mines for years. But no, they just nerfed like Spark. Like, this does not accomplish what they said they were doing. All right. Just quick scroll through. I like war cries. Did you guys buff war cries or melee in a way, Hayden, in these war cry clusters? I thought this already existed. 10% for each. Oh, it's just phrased really weirdly. It sounds like no. Sounds like no. These they're fucking insane. What the fuck? If you switch stances, that's one skill gem that Duelist starts with. They removed the Onslaught support gem because they didn't want an unfair balance to the start of the game. Duelist gets stance switches at like level 4. And then you get Onslaught if you switch stances, which is like an instant thing, doesn't cost mana. It's just like you just click a button every 4 seconds, you have permanent Onslaught. It doesn't make any sense. I've looked at the patch notes for like 5 minutes. It doesn't make any sense. So weird. What is this? This is just listing the masteries, what they are now. Attack masteries. Oh, this is like a way easier way to read it. Non-val strike skills target one additional neighboring enemy. Gain adrenaline for 1 second when you... They're fucking idiots! What are they doing? Well, speedruns are just gonna be mashing stance change. Absolute clowns. Adrenaline is like... How much move speed is it? Adrenaline is 25% attack, cast, and move speed. Onslaught is 20%. So Adrenaline is 5% better Onslaught. Usually can't get in a lot of places. It's very rarely shows up in the game. But if you can get Adrenaline and Onslaught when you change stances, people are just going to be fucking... They're going to put like stance change on left click to speedrun the campaign. But they said that they want it to make it even for everyone, for more viable options in the early game, because it's been stale. Why even have a Quicksilver Flask? Why not? Because it all stacks. Look at the last new caster mastery. What the fuck? What the fuck? Not even 100%. It's just that I love it, but also that's fucking crazy. I'm still baffled at the stance change thing. Imagine taking that one. You gotta use your skill point to open these nearby chests. It doesn't, also, you don't know what nearby is. That nearby could be little tiny little cone around you. You have no idea. You might have already have had to have basically walked up to the chest. %6 for each different spell. Gonna need more than that. They keep wanting to use more spells, but yeah. 25% more spelled more if you've been stunned while casting recently. That shit's busted. There's the jewel that no one really talked about, which is it's 1,000% faster stun and block recovery. So you can make yourself really, really, really easily stunned, but you don't even notice it anymore. I was running it all last league. All the builds were like, oh man, it kind of sucks when I get stunned. Like, you can get stunned and you don't even visually notice it, but you get stunned for like a millisecond. But also when that happens now, for 4 seconds you'll get 25% more spell damage. So that's pretty good. I don't know. I don't know if you would take that or you would take the 25% chance to open a chest. It's almost April Fool's. Fuck. Monsters cannot block your attacks is cool, I guess. Or maybe monsters could just stop blocking attacks because they have enough problems. Anyway, am I dredging? I've spent 3 hours of streaming already. I almost feel like I should come back tomorrow and start Dredge on a fresh day. Cuz I'm kind of mentally disabled by thinking about PoE. That's what it'll do to you. And I've already been talking a lot and I'm tired. 3 hours of talking, I'm tired. Just finish looking at this and then dredge it up tomorrow. Gain 20 fortification on melee kill against a rare or unique enemy. That's not melee. Oh no, it does say melee kill. Okay, I was gonna say like, hell, I'd still put like fucking Culling Strike on a movement ability as a caster to get 20 fortification. That would last 6 seconds. Never mind. Wait, there was a claw mastery for instant leech. Increase projectile speed while wielding a dagger. Weird. Claw, no. All the claw ones are already good. Increase stealth, who cares? Leech is instant with a claw per equipped claw. That's really good. Doubled attack speed bonus from dual wielding. The dual wield bonus is a more multiplier for attack speed, isn't it? It's like a 10% action speed kind of thing, isn't it? In it? What the fuck is stealth? It basically does nothing. Don't even worry about it. I don't know why they would make a skill based on it. It's like things are less likely to attack you and they will attack other stuff for. Yeah, so that one is that one should be really strong. And it's probably justified because most claw builds are claw and shield because dual wielding has been really bad for a long time. Life. I like what they did there too, that this used to be life and mana per hit, but they made it offhand mana so that you get the full benefit when you use dual wield instead of, again, shields. Claw changes are cool. That's really strong. Free exposure. Enemies near your targets you shatter have frost. That's also really strong. People were paying a lot for the covered with frost ring was the only place to get that. But then its targets, it'd be hard to apply to bosses because you would have to like, yeah. Max cold resist, cool. Fucking what's the helmet name? Heat Shiver? Is Heat Shiver build's not strong enough? That's ridiculous. Heat Shiver Glacial Hammer was getting played. I think Mathel did a Glacial Hammer Heat Shiver and it was really strong. And that is enemies take increased damage is always better than increased damage because it's basically a multiplier. That's pretty good. 15% spell suppress if you're an evasion character, which I'm pretty sure doesn't exist in the current PoE, but if you're doing evasion, there you go. Increased energy shield from equipped helmet, not bad, pretty good. Chaos damage taken does not bypass energy shield, pretty good. Burning enemies you kill have a chance to explode. 3%. Which as a master, I mean, I guess you can't ask for more than 3%. Refresh ignite duration. I don't think you really need that because there's a lot of ways to like you can refresh ignite duration with curses now, I guess, but I don't know. 100% increased damage with hits against ignited enemies. There's a lot of shitty nerfs that make no sense, but then there's also equivocally a lot of huge buffs that, I mean, equally really that doesn't make any sense why you would buff something that much. And like the adrenaline stance change is huge. Myriad next week, fingers crossed. Righteous Fire explodes now. It kind of did with the Scorch Boots already. That's really strong. I don't know. Leech, all new, all good. Lightning. That's gonna definitely be abusable for sure. There's also a lot of new ways to be unaffected by shock. And you probably convert all the damage you take to lightning. Yeah, there's a lot of sneaky stuff in here. In Mana Mastery, they gave increased mana reservation efficiency, which they took out of Aura Mastery, right? The fuck are you guys doing? What the fuck are they doing? Wait, it took an Aura Master. It's way too powerful. We definitely don't want you to be able to do that here in Mana Mastery. Mark, that's really good. It was very annoying that basically only Deadeye could do that before. That's also very, 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 very good. That's a whole ascendancy. True. That's like what is the belt? Rizlatha's Coil. Half of a Rizlatha's Coil as a mastery, which is super good for bleed builds. Your elemental resistances cannot be lowered by curses. Sign me up to that, champ. Damaging ailments cannot be inflicted on you while you already have one. So like one poison max. Sign me up, champ. Corrupting blood? I don't think it's an ailment. Raises the cap. Yeah, so your maximum physical damage that you can do is increased, but your like average isn't. But because your max can go higher, you end up doing a lot more damage, especially with bleed, which is based on the damage of the hit, and it only keeps the highest bleed. %, all max resistances if you have reserved life and mana. There's a free, basically free max res. Chance for traps to trigger an additional time. Yahoo! Okay. Remove all damaging ailments when you Warcry. Okay. Okie dokie. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of neat stuff in there. I think that probably sums it up. Don't think there's much else to look at. I'm disappointed that there's less balance changes, and the balance changes that there were for like specific skill gems also don't make any sense. Like the ones that are there are just weird. I don't know if it has any information on the new uniques. Like they said, Abyss uniques got reworked. I don't think any of that's going to be in here. Or is it? We've also revamped many Breach uniques. They are. Oh, the Breach ones. Breach uniques are already really strong. This is a lot of nerd. This is like too much nerd shit. Let me look at the good ones. The Surrender Shield now has more armor, more life when you block. No longer provides its good benefit. Okay. What else? What else is a good Breach unique? Most of them are really good. %50 to suppress on perfect form, but they removed again the interesting part of no reservation on Arctic armor. It's just a spell suppress armor. Halicon unique amulet is no longer good. Instead, it does some quirky shit no one cares about. I guess for what's it called? Herald. Choir of the Storm no longer has... Now triggers level 30 lightning bolt. That's probably still going to be bad because you can't put skill gems on it. You can't support it. Triggers, you say? That doesn't matter for I mean, I guess that matters for trigger bots because you would get double duplicated lightning bolts. But I think that item is still bad because it has no support gems no matter what. A Hand of Wisdom and Action no longer does this. Instead, it has one. Like, I expected all of these to be reworks of like, oh, like these are kind of outdated. Breach uniques are really old. Let's give them a little bit of love. Every single one of these has been a nerf. Zoph's Heart, surprisingly better. Ish. Volnatul's Embrace. I can't even remember if that's what I think it is. All they've done is nerf for years. Yeah, if you ignore all the really insanely powerful shit in this patch, that is like the highest power level we've ever seen, then it's definitely all nerfs. It's just annoying to me when stuff gets nerfed that feels like it didn't need it at all. Like half of these gems that are like, yeah, it's kind of the same, but a little bit worse. But also, you can put a fucking skill tree on a unique weapon. Oh, like Red Dream is straight fucking buff. That's kind of crazy. Of all the ones that I thought would be nerfed, I thought it would be these jewels. Yeah, and these are really buff for block builds. Use Blue Nightmare a lot for a Gladiator. So that's surprising. I guess because they did buff all jewel slots as well. No Myriad this week? Sadly, no. Projectiles pierce all burning enemies. Okay, well, I mean, they made Zoft's Inception slightly usable. Some of those seem okay. Some of them, I don't know what they were doing. Does it not show the Abyss uniques, though? It shows all the Breach ones and not Abyss. That would be weird. Here they are. Shroud of the Light Lich has more max light. Wait, no. %3 max life per Abyss Jewel. And penetrate 4% per Abyss Jewel. There are now also 2 to 3 Abyssal Socket variations. That's a huge nerf. The secret early league strat for getting a 6 link was to get a Shroud of the Lightless because you only need to link 5 sockets and it was basically a 6 link. And it was really nice to do that. But now it's like kind of worse and also might not even have 5 sockets. Trash. Pool of 6 random modifiers. Okay. Sure. %100 chance to get a spirit charge on kill instead of 20%. Physical damage as extra damage of each element per spirit charge. That's usable. That's a usable Abyss item. What? Darkness Enthroned got buffed. Potentially. That's really interesting. Darkness Enthroned is a really interesting item. Yeah, that some people do use for very specific uses. A lot of builds here and there use it, so that's cool. Yeah, Darkness Enthroned can be good. Bubonic Trail. Now it gives less movement speed kind of randomly, while affected by a magic Abyss Jewel. What? It has move. What? The fuck? Why? Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. Like, oh, cool, we could do this cool interaction. Like, if they have a magic Abyss Jewel on. Fuck you. The good thing now about Abyss Jewels is that they drop rare corrupted ones. Why would you ever want to use a magic one? Ever. Just so you could have movement speed on your boots. Oh, because it has reservation efficiency while affected by a unique Abyss Jewel. That's why. Because it has 24% reservation efficiency on boots. I see. High variance uniques. They do be like doing that. Unique jewel now has blah 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 blah. That's really good, and they made Shield Crush potentially really strong this league. But you probably still wouldn't do that. I'm kind of disappointed at those unique changes, though. I don't know, some of them are better. I for a while I've been thinking that giving better unique drops in Abyss because they're so outdated would have helped make the league mechanic worth going down into the fight the Lich at all. But that is not what we're getting. Anywho, I think I'm done. I might peek around at this a little bit more for myself, but I think I pretty much looked at everything and covered everything, and I'm not really even a primarily Path of Exile streamer guy, and I don't even end up streaming it on my main channel at all. But I definitely spent longer on this than I intended to, and I'm gonna play Dredge tomorrow. And maybe prep Myriad shit tonight instead, so I don't have to continue talking. because my throat is, I'm already tired of talking. And I don't want to start a game that I think is going to be fun while I'm tired of talking. You have a secondary channel? So typically what I've done, I did last PoE League, was I streamed the first day on this channel, and then I have twitch.tv/Ster2Ster. And then I continue streaming on there. Do you get the items that you buy on all your characters? Yes, it's account bound. So any character on your account for Path of Exile can wear whatever items you bought. But you technically have one copy of them, and it will automatically take it off of the other character wearing it. Bye-bye. Sorry, stream got cut short.